Alright, what's going on, dudes, and welcome to something I think is pretty cool. This is actually some Battlefield 4 gameplay, which, at this point, you may be thinking to yourself, wait a minute, this game doesn't come out until October, so how in the world do you have footage of it? So I actually got a chance to play and capture footage for about half an hour while I was at E3, which is super cool because it's like one of the first times I've actually ever gotten a chance to play and record a game early before release date. I'm actually having a hard time thinking of another chance I've had to do that. But yeah, I had a good time playing it, and I figured the footage would be of interest to some of you because up until now it's been mostly like trailers and whatnot that have been available, but this is actually some good old-fashioned, I think it's still an alpha build, but it's multiplayer footage nonetheless, and although I am not the most avid Battlefield player, I still thought it would be interesting. So yeah, let's see. What are my initial impressions of the game? Well, actually, to start off, totally separate from the gameplay you're seeing here, at E3 they had a commander mode set up actually, and it was this one big screen that sort of was on a platform above the rest of the people who were playing multiplayer on the LAN setup that was just set up at the E3 EA booth. Excuse me. And just looking at that was super cool. So commander mode is something that I think was last in Battlefield 2. It was skipped in Battlefield 3 and now it's returning. And it's basically this one person who is able to they have a display of the map on their screen, and they can sort of tell their team to go to certain locations. They can call in airstrikes. It's someone basically who would be sitting on a computer at a base and sort of providing remote guidance to the rest of the squad out there in the field. So it's pretty cool. Unfortunately, I didn't get a chance to play it myself because there were like 64 computers set up, but only one person in commander mode. So yeah, would have been quite a wait probably to get to do that. Nor do I even know if the setup would have been able to capture at that station. But yeah, nonetheless, got to see it sort of from afar, and it looked like fun. But anyway, as far as like my gameplay here, hopefully you're not facepalming too much because normally if I were posting gameplay footage, I'd wait until I had some pretty solid kill streaks going or objective captures going until I'd post the game. But here, again, I only had half an hour, so I had to sort of take it or leave it. But nonetheless, it should give you a fairly decent impression as to how the game looks, how it runs, so on and so forth. Let's see. As far as this map in particular, it's called Siege of Shanghai. It takes place in, you guessed it, Shanghai, and it's the map they were running, I think, throughout E3. I think it's the only playable one they had, but I'm not sure about that. Either way, has a ton of skyscrapers. Actually, one of them, and I don't know which one, to be completely honest, but I think one of the skyscrapers actually is able to collapse. I think it might be the one that I was on, but it's sort of this mass display of destructible environment. I think it was the one that I'm on, that I parachute off of in this footage, because later on I returned to that point, and it's all rubble, and I was like, wait a minute, this does not look the same as it was. Like, I could have sworn when I spawned here last time I was on top of a building, and now I'm just in a field of rubble. So unfortunately I didn't actually get to see the collapse take place, but let it be known that does exist, and that's kind of freaking cool. I've actually never seen sort of an in-engine mega building collapse in a multiplayer game before. That's kind of cool. Just like mid-round, oh, there goes the building. Yeah, there are actually a few more instances of some destructible set pieces taking place here. One example, probably the best example that I have in front of my camera in the footage here, is the entryway to the metro. How it starts off as an actual building that you enter and go downstairs into, and then I think it was because of an airstrike that right after sort of the dust settles, it's kind of gone. So yeah, just buildings here and there that you can completely blow up, and at least on this map, I don't know about others, a full-on skyscraper. I don't know what it takes to take that thing down, but I don't think it's a scripted event. I think you actually have to weaken the building enough to cause it to collapse. So, pretty cool stuff. let's see, some cool new multiplayer features that, while I didn't necessarily get to capture any footage of them, they are there. So there's this whole like squad level up system now, to where if your squad starts doing consistently well throughout a round, you'll actually get rewarded with like additional ammo, additional grenades, so on and so forth, things like that. And it sort of encourages you to communicate with your squad members. I don't know, hopefully they're talking with you via voice chat or Skype or something like that. But yeah, just sort of encourages you to move as a unit, communicate with each other, and just get some teamwork done. Now conversely, if you're doing well but then things start to turn around on you, you can actually get things taken away, or even, I don't know if you can get penalized for it, but at the very least, if you start doing poorly, your benefits can get taken away from you. So keep up the good work, sirs. I think there's also a new added sort of like auto lean feature, to where if you ADS at a cover point, so say you're at like the edge of a wall right before it ends, and you ADS right there, I guess it sort of auto leans you out so that you can sort of keep cover while firing out from that wall at the same time. I didn't actually realize this myself while I was playing, so I didn't get to try it, but apparently that feature does exist. And finally, I guess there's this sort of, I don't know, like a melee fight back thing, to where if someone actually comes and tries to get your dog tag, if you melee back at the right time, you can actually like counter melee them, and you'll end up killing them and getting their dog tag instead. So that's kind of interesting. Unfortunately, I didn't have the reflexes to accomplish that, even though I did get snuck up from behind at one point, which is always a little bit embarrassing, because I was just sort of like peeking my head up over a wall, trying to. I was being kind of a camper, and someone got me back for it. So yes, indeedy. Anyway, all in all, the game ran super smooth. Give or take a bug here and there, but obviously it's not the final build of the game, so there are bound to be bugs here and there. Look beautiful though. I will actually look forward to seeing what it looks like on the next gen consoles, because this was on PC. Obviously, most of the time when you're demoing unreleased things at conventions, it's played on PC. But yeah, it should be like fully able to display the beauty of Battlefield graphics when it's on the next-gen consoles. I don't know for sure if the next-gen consoles. I think the next-gen consoles support 64-player multiplayer, whereas it's only on the current gen, the 360 and the PS3, because I think it's coming to those two, and those will only support the 32-player multiplayer. So I think that when it comes to PS4 and Xbox One, it's basically going to be like a level playing field with PC, at least when it comes to, like, hopefully graphics and as well as the number of players that you can play with on online at once. So yeah, man, should be pretty cool. Obviously, we'll look forward to seeing how it actually runs on the consoles once. I guess they probably get closer to release, or I don't know. Maybe during the press conferences at E3 they were actually demoing Battlefield on the console. It's really hard to tell at press conferences whether or not they're playing on console or playing on PC. You never really know for sure, because even if they're playing with the console's controller, that can just be plugged into a PC. So it's sort of, you never really know for sure, unless they actually have like the console on display and the controller plugged directly into that and you can see it, which I don't remember whether or not that was the case. But yeah, at least when it comes to like the gameplay footage, that they aren't necessarily like someone playing on stage, but it's pre-recorded footage that they're demoing at the shows. It's usually always done on PC for the sake of it just being easier, even if it's meant to promote one of the newer consoles. So just an interesting thing to note. Yeah, anyway, certainly looking forward to trying out more of this, getting the game when it releases, and for now, I guess that's about it. So thank you very much for watching. Hopefully you've enjoyed. If you have, a rating would be much appreciated. Other than that, I guess I will see you next time.